everybody. This is Carmen Norris, aka SHIPMENT.
And Tim Norris, aka GreyElephant.
And this is our live play of WarMachine High Command.
Now, you're going to see us cutting in and out like this throughout the entire live play, and the purpose is we're going to be giving our thoughts as the game plays out. So, we'll see you out on the battlefield. Players, so we have, what is that?
Ancient Ichthar and Laidri.
Excellent.
And you see the locations are going to give us resources and also victory points.
Correct. And this here is the Winds of War deck. This is kind of like the clock of the game. So to start the game, we're actually going to go ahead and flip over the top card. And
Requisition. The cost of the first card you purchased this round is decreased by 2 command or 2 war.
Okay, and that will make sense as we're playing the game. This is our draw deck, so Carmen already deferred that I would be the starting player. So I would draw 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would go ahead and start playing. These 3 characters that are right here are our war casters. I have 3 and she has 3. These are one-shot characters, and we'll demonstrate how they work when we get to that point. So, listed on our cards, we have 12 basic resource cards. We start with 6 of them that we draw up. And they either have command or war listed on them. Sometimes they have both. This is how we're going to actually be able to purchase the cards that are in front of us. For instance, let's say if I want to buy this Commandant's Authority resource card. Down at the bottom, it says for the purchase cost that it costs 4 command plus 4 war. So what I could do then is I could play 2 cards that each have 2 war on them. And then if I want to, I could play 1 card that has 2 command. And the reason I can do that is because of the requisition card that allowed me to reduce the first card I purchased by either 2 command or 2 war. That'll allow me to purchase that, and now they're going to go over into my discard pile, and another card will take the place of that one that I had just purchased. Now looking at what I have left here, which isn't very much, unfortunately, I cannot afford to purchase any of these other cards, so I do have the option of discarding a card, which will then allow me to remove one of these cards that are in front of me, put them on the bottom of the deck, replacing it with a new card. So I think I'm going to go ahead and replace this Demolisher here and replace it with a new card just like that, which just so happened to be a card I can't afford because I do have 2 commands. So I'll go ahead and purchase that card as well. Now the last thing I'll do on my turn is I'm going to draw 6 new cards, and then it would turn over to Carmen's turn.
Okay, well, I've got a resource also that is very beneficial to get at the beginning of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and pay my 4 war. I'm going to reduce the command, so I only pay 2 command. So that pays for my first card. And, oh, that's the same card. Caspian Orders again, same resource card.
And these are fantastic to try to buy early in the game because they're going to benefit you late game.
But I can't afford to get both of them, of course.
It's expensive.
So I will go with this Trencher Light Artillery Team. And that will cost me 3 command. So that's it.
Okay. And the reason that we did not actually deploy or rush, which we'll get into rushing here in just a bit, anybody to either one of these locations is because the first 2 rounds you're not allowed to deploy nor rush any characters. Well, that'll end the actual first turn. Now, just so you know that in the timer here, or the Winds of War deck, there's a total of 15 cards. Once we get to either the 11th through the 15th round, the game could end at any time. What we're looking for is the Day of Reckoning card. Once that's revealed, it's going to be either the 11th or the 15th card. That'll immediately end the game. As for now, we're going to begin round 2, and this one's just basically a raid for battle. Nothing special is going to happen. So because of that, we're just going to go ahead and just keep purchasing because that's all we can do for right now. And I'm going to spend 2, 4, 5 war. I'm going to purchase this resource card, Supply Convoy, which will give me 5 war, I'm sorry, 3 war possibly, that I could try to use. And then I'm going to go ahead and spend 4 command to get this Winter Guard Rocket Corps. Corps, K-O-R-P-S. And now one thing you're allowed to do is you're allowed to take 1 card, and if you'd like, you can bank that card. What that means is I'm going to just turn it over in front of me, and it will add to my next hand. It'll be a 7th card. Also, because I am done with my turn and I have no more cards to draw, I now will take my discard pile and I'm allowed to cull one card out of my deck that'll no longer be in the game, shuffle, and then go ahead and draw my hand to 6. And that will end my turn. Go over to Carmen.
Okay, well I had banked last turn, I forgot to tell you, that's why I have 7 cards. Gonna get that resource card again, I think. And let's see what else I can get. I do not have 5 war, so unfortunately I cannot get this guy.
Santa war! Yeah!
So I'll spend 2 war and get the Long Gunner Platoon.
You spent 2 war, is that what you just said?
Yeah.
I think he was command, actually.
Oh, I'll spend 2 command to get the Long Gunner Platoon.
What you're going to find is that the robot guys are always war, human-looking people are always command.
And I'm going to bank my card again and
okay.
Go ahead and shuffle my discard.
Don't forget you can cull a card as well. Alright, so while she's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and flip over our next Winds of War card. Fresh Recruits. Warrior cards gain +1 health this round. Alright, now it's open. These locations are open. We are allowed to rush or deploy cards. So the difference between rushing and deploy. Let's take a look at one of these cards. Let's take a look at my Destroyer here that's in front of me. The Destroyer down at the bottom, if you notice, has a purchase cost of 6 war. That means I have to spend 6 war out of my hand to purchase him, but he would go over to my discard pile. Now if you look over to the right of that, it says Rush 10 war. What that means is that if I would like to spend 10 resource points of war, I would then be able to take this Destroyer immediately from in front of me and rush him to either one of the locations to try to, hopefully try to take control of them. To be able to take control of a location, you must have 2 of your soldiers, we'll just call them, or cards, we'll just say that, more than your opponent at the start of your location at a particular location. For instance, if both of these characters were up here at the start of the next turn, my turn, and Carmen had nobody there, then I would actually capture that location. That'll make sense as we play a little bit more. So for now, let me see. So warriors will gain +1 health. Unfortunately, I actually do have a warrior. So let's see. So that's worth 7 victory points, but it's only worth 1 command and 1 war. This is worth, and it says you can discard this card. You know what? I think I'm going to go for that one. So I have to discard 4 command to be able to actually put him out. So 2, 4 command. Okay, so that leaves me with 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I'm just going to go ahead. So I went ahead and deployed the Winter Guard Rocket Corps. And that's only going to be 1 character there, so I can't win that. And then I'm going to spend the rest of my cards with all their war to be able to purchase this supply convoy, and that will end my turn. So Carmen, it'll turn over to you.
Okay. Well, looks like I can deploy something, if I can find him. What did you do with him?
Something.
Here he is. My Long Gunner Platoon cost me 2 command to deploy.
Ah, you're gonna fight. You're gonna fight me. You got an open location, and you're still gonna fight me.
Yes, I enjoy fighting.
You do real. Wait a minute. Oh, he can't be destroyed without spear range. Well, you better put somebody with him.
And then I'm gonna spend 8 war. And I'm gonna rush this guy.
Holy moly! You had 8 war. Wow, you're really mean.
Oh boy, that would be nice if I had 6 war left, wouldn't it?
Well, it'd be nice if I had like all the war I wanted, then I could just rush out whatever I want. Yeah. But that's not the way the game's played.
Okay, well, 3 war, I can purchase him, so I'll just go ahead and use my last cards to purchase that.
Alright, so why don't we get a closer look at this? Seems how you are done, correct? Let's go ahead and replace that card. Go ahead and draw your 6 cards up. And then the last phase of her turn is going to actually, we're going to have a battle right here on this location. Okay, here we got a close-up of the actual location battle that's going to take place. Now, Carmen is the attacker, which means that she gets to come after my guy first. Now, battle in this game is actually pretty simplistic for the most part. what she's going to do is she's going to add up the power on her character cards. The power is actually this like brownish looking dot that's right above the red dot. So she's got a 1 and then she's got a 2. However, she might have special abilities that are listed below that could possibly increase her power, which I'm not sure if you do or not.
No.
Okay, so that would mean you have a total of 3 attack. Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, her long gunner platoon has the ability called Superior Range, and what that means is that this card cannot be destroyed if there are any friendly cards without Superior Range at this location. So if you take a look at her Ironclad Warjack, you would see that listed he is not a he does not have Superior Range. He has Knockdown as his ability listed below. And it says if an opponent destroys this card, he discards a card. Well, her 3 power, if you come over to my character now, I have the Winter Guard Rocket Corps, is not enough to overcome the health of my character. I'm sorry, I think I forgot to mention that the red dot equals the health of the character. So my character has 4 health, so her 3 attack does not overcome the health of my character. Not to mention this round, the fresh recruits, it said warrior cards gain +1 health this round, so technically he's 5 health. Now, down below his heavy rocket, it says that this card suffers -1 power if there are only enemy cards at this locations are warriors. Well, she has a warjack there, so I'm safe. So his power then would be 3, and he can attack back with that, but unfortunately I will not be able to destroy her warjack because I am forced to destroy the warjack. I cannot actually defeat the gunner. So in this case, it's actually a draw. Nothing happens. All of our troops will actually stay here, and it'll actually become my turn, and then I got to try to see if I can do something about them characters there. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip over our next card. Coal Shipment. The deploy purchase cost of all cards is decreased by 1 war. Alright, so let's see what I can do here. Do I have any characters that I can... Unfortunately, I have nobody that I can deploy out of my hand. Okay, well, let's see what I can do here. Because I need to get rid of that guy. And that's going to be tough. The good thing is at least you can't defeat him this turn. So, okay. Let's go with... Ooh. If I paid to move him up there. Okay. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and purchase, or I'm going to rush one of my warcasters. This is Vladimir Tsapetsky, the Dark Prince. Okay, now let's take a look at the bottom of his card. Down at the bottom, he's got that he cost me 2 rush to actually deploy, so I went ahead and discarded my 2 rush, paid for him. It says here that he has Forced March. When you rush warjack cards this turn, pay their purchase cost instead of their rush cost. Well, that means that now I don't have to pay the high cost of my warjacks to be able to get them up here. Which means I only have to pay 6. So I am going to go ahead and 4, 5, 6. I have it there. And that will get my destroyer up at this location. And let's see, let's flip over the next card. I was hoping for another warjack. You know, I shouldn't have discarded that 1. I don't know what I was thinking. And that's my own fault, though, unfortunately. Okay, so, because I could have rushed up another character. I'm going to go ahead and spend 5 war, and I'm going to buy this supply convoy. Flip over the next card. And let me see here. You will not be able to defeat either one of my characters, so I'm just going to go ahead and bank this card here. I'm going to draw 6, which I can only draw 2. So that means I get to take my discard pile, cull a card. Okay, this time I am the attacker and Carmen is the defender. And I have a lot more firepower now to try to take control of this base. So, first off, why don't we go ahead and look at my character cards. And I'm going to go ahead and turn them sideways like this, so that maybe we can get a better view of them. Okay? First off, we already know what my Winter Guard Rocket Corps does. Basically, he just loses power if only warrior cards were the enemy warrior cards were there. So he's fine. So he's going to have 3 power, 4 health. My Destroyer, who I love these Destroyers, he's got an ability called Blast, and it says at the start of each player's attack, choose an opponent. This card gains +1 power for each warrior card at this location that is friendly to that player. Well, I'm going to choose Carmen, obviously.
And my Long Gunner platoon is a warrior.
And he is a warrior, so now his power will go from 3 to 4. So now I've got 4 with him, 3 with my Winter Guard, so that's 7. However, I do still have a Warcaster there. And first off, we'll notice he's got 4 attack. And then if you notice, he has no health, and the reason is because he's a one-shot deal. As soon as I finish this battle, he is going to go away. Underneath, he's called a Battle Group Commander. It says friendly Warjack cards at Vladimir's location gain +1 power. Well, my Destroyer is a Warjack. So therefore, my Destroyer now will have 5 attack instead of just 3. Also underneath was the Forced March, which we've already covered that, which allowed me to rush this Destroyer up there. So that gives me 5 attack, +4, which is 9, 10, 11, 12 total attack. Carmen's total health value is 8, and that is now enough for me to destroy both of her characters. However, something bad is going to happen to me, though.
If an opponent destroys this card, he discards a card.
Correct. So her Ironclad caused a negative effect, so now I have to take a card from my hand and discard it, unfortunately. However, I did destroy both of these cards.
I just want to point out, I would attack back still, but I don't have enough power to overcome the health of any one of his cards.
That's
so
right.
It doesn't do me any good.
Yes, so she could have possibly attacked back. That's correct. So now what's going to happen is this Warcaster is just going to be, he will go away, and I will not be able to use him anymore. He was a one-shot deal. These 2 characters now have taken control of this base, and if I have 2 characters here still at the beginning of my turn, my next turn, I will now win this location. Ahaha, so I've taken full control of this base. What you gonna do? Of course, this one's only worth 5 victory points, whereas this one is worth 7. You should just let me have it.
Yeah, that's got some nice resources, though.
Yeah, it does. Worth 2 less victory points, though.
I don't think there's a whole lot I can do.
No, there's not.
I'll purchase this card to get it out of my way and see if there's something better that's going to come out. So
now, don't forget, the deploy purchase cost of all cards is decreased by 1 war.
Field Mechanic Corps. Okay. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of war in my hand, unfortunately.
I say war. Yeah. Carmen ain't got none.
Well, this isn't doing me any good, so we'll try putting a new card out.
Okay, so she's just going to discard a card to try to remove one of these cards in front of her to try to get a new card to replace it. In hopes that she probably gets a card with command, because it seems like you're struggling, you don't have any war. Bad time for that card to pop up when you don't have any war in your hand. When, of course, you get another card with war, right?
Yeah. I'm not going to be able to do much here.
Oh, just buy then.
I can't even buy anything. You don't understand. It's all war. I don't have war in my hand.
Yeah, I've had that happen.
So I guess I'll discard this war card and see if I can get another one with command somehow.
Okay. You got 2 of those. So this is looking like I am definitely going to take this base. There's no way she's going to be able to get it now.
About it.
And you got another card with war, unfortunately. And of course you discarded a card with 2 war to be able to...
Yeah, but this card really stinks. Like, once I use it with a Warcaster, it's the Lancer. And once I use it with a Warcaster, it's useless. So I think I'll go ahead and discard him too, because he's annoying.
Wow, you're having to do a lot.
Wow, you know, that was just a bad hand. I mean, my hand's full of command, and my tableau's full of war. I couldn't purchase anything. I couldn't deploy anything. I couldn't rush anything. The whole turn was just wasted.
So bad turn for you, which is perfect opportunity for me to be able to take this space. So now we would go into the war phase, which she has no war, or I'm sorry, the battle phase, which she has no characters out to battle. That will end this round, so we'll flip our next Winds of War card, and this is called Requisition. The cost of the first card you purchase this round is decreased by 2 command or 2 war. Now, one thing to note is that is the 5th card that has been flipped. That is the last of the early war cards. The next 5 will be mid-war. The next 5 after that are late war, but remember, the game could end anytime between round 11 or 15. So now that it's the start of my turn, I have 2 more characters at this base than what she does, which means I automatically capture it. Now there's a negative effect about capturing a base. And what that is that both of these cards that I had remaining at this location are now going to be removed from the game. Now they do have victory point values, and I will be able to count them victory points towards my final score. However, these guys will not be useful for me through the rest of the game. However, I do capture this location, and it does say you can discard this card to refresh all cards in your reserves instead of discarding each one. Remember how Carmen was having to do that, or she was refreshing her cards? If I discarded just this one, I could refresh all of them. This will actually now go into my discard pile, and I'll be able to use it for the resources that are stated at the top of the card. We'll replace and put a new one out.
Our new location is Rainier.
Rainier, yeah, Rainier, And that's worth 5 VP, and when you capture this location, you can move 1 card from your discard pile to your occupying forces pile. So, yeah, pretty cool. I don't always find that the abilities down below are really worth it that much.
The occupying forces pile basically means you're moving it from the game, so it's another way to call a card.
That's the occupying forces. That's what these cards that were at the location went to. Okay, so let's see. So the first card I purchased is either decreased by 2 command or 2 war. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to spend 1, 2, 3 command. And then I'm going to purchase this transfer papers, which actually would have cost me 5 command. But I'm able to only spend 3. So let's go ahead and flip over a new one. Let's see here. I don't know if I'm... Now see, I'm having the opposite effect that you had. I have a bunch with command, and I actually have a lot more war in my hand, unfortunately. The other thing I don't like is that none of these cards are worth any victory points, and that kind of stinks. But, oh well. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I have a Winter Guard Conscriptors, Winter Guard Warrior, okay? Anyways, he says on his ability here, it's called Conscripted, and it says you can discard 1 conscription-based basic resource card to rush this card instead of paying its rushing cost. Its rush cost would be 4 command. Well, I happen to have a conscription basic resource card in my hand, so I'm going to go ahead and discard it, and I'm going to rush this guy up to this base right here, or this location. Now I'm going to replace him, and that was nice because now I did get a card that I can actually use. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I am 1 short of actually being able to rush that, and that really stinks. Yeah, but that's okay. I'll spend a 4, 5, 6, and that'll allow me to purchase that card at least. And I'll put it there, turn over my next one, and I will bank this one, and I'll draw 6 cards. So that'll turn that'll end my turn, and that'll be yours.
Okay, well, let's see. Try to decide what to do here. It'd be kind of nice to have 7 victory points, and I don't like leaving a guy here for you to go around and add to it on your next turn. That's not cool.
You didn't seem interested in that location the last turn,
well, no,
so...
I really could use the resources. It's really nice to have resources.
That's... Yeah. The only thing this is good for is victory points. Yeah. Let's face it. After that, I'm going to try to cull it because it's just taking up space. Yeah, it's kind of like it has 1 use.
So you've got 2 health and 1 power.
Yeah, it's not like I'm,
yeah.
I'm ready for battle. He's just there just to try to say, hey, what you going to do about this?
Exactly. I gotta do something.
Well, not necessarily. He's only 1 character. I gotta have 2 there to win the location.
I know, but it comes back around and you'll just keep stacking them on there. Yeah. So
I can agree with that too.
Alright, well, it looks like I can deploy both of these.
Uh-oh. So what are you deploying?
The Trencher Light Artillery Team will cost me 3 command to deploy. So...
well, don't forget, you can purchase things for less command and less war. Don't you want to buy things instead?
Not if it's going to give you a location.
Why not?
Okay, now... this guy costs 3 war to deploy.
Notice how she's always going after me. Open location, and she always goes after me.
So, there's my 3 war, which actually, interesting to note, I have to pay 4 works.
You don't have, yeah.
Don't have a card.
You
with
can
only 1
never
war on
carry
it,
over
so...
the value. Yep, that stinks. So you just banking that last card then?
Yes.
Okay, don't forget, go ahead and draw up, and then we will go to our battle phase, which is going to be bloody and ugly.
Ugly because you're going to lose.
Okay, so we have the cards here laid out for you so you can see a closer battle here, closer look at the battle. So, okay, Carmen, why don't you go ahead and explain your cards you got?
Well, my Trencher Light Artillery Team has 2 power and 2 health. Now, they have a special, which is called Covering Fire. Reduce the overall enemy power by 1 at locations with 1 or more friendly cards with Covering Fire. So, this actually is a card with Covering Fire.
So
yeah.
It would reduce my power by 1, I believe.
Right, so now Tim has 0 power. Then my Charger has 2 power and 4 health. And dual attack. Once per turn, you can discard a card to give this card +1 power.
I don't think that's going to be necessary.
I don't need that. But maybe I could use it next time.
Okay, so my Winter Guard conscripts, unfortunately, he has no real ability. His ability was that I was able to deploy him there by paying his by discarding that card. And he's got 0 power. He's got 2 health. So he gets obliterated. And that was an easy victory for Carmen. So she's now left that location and she's going to have 2 guys there. I will now have to see if I'm going to do something about it. Okay, so that's going to end part 1 of WarMachine High Command. Now we're done with all 5 of the early war cards. In part 2, we're going to be going into mid-war and spicing things up a little bit more.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, so far in part 1, I just feel like I'm really scrambling to make up for that bad turn I had.
You'll just use any excuse under the sun, won't you?
Yeah, whatever. I'll see you in part 2 and beat up on your little guys.
I'm so scared. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.